Super spine, refine it, build fast workflow. Super spine, super spine, super spine.
Hello everybody, welcome to my first stream. Never done this before, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm not a professional presenter, so hopefully we'll be cool. So hopefully you guys that have joined me, you already know about Super Spline. I've been posting it a fair amount recently, so in this stream I'm just going to basically be taking some assets and using Super Spline to build a roller coaster. So basically I've been on this website, IT Happy Studios, and I've downloaded this asset pack. I just thought it's a good idea to use something to get going. Nobody wants to see me modeling stuff, so we can hopefully use this to speed up our process. So I'm going to hide my camera now. Nobody needs to see my pretty face, distracted everyone. Right, okay, so the other thing to mention, I will be offering a discount code at the end of this. So if you stick around, you can get 20% off, and you'll be able to find the link for the Gumroad store in the description. Okay, so for this demo I am using the new Lightwave 2026 beta, and so what we're doing is building a roller coaster completely from scratch. So earlier on I just drew a kind of rough guide of how I want my track to look. So basically I'm going to just chuck that in the backdrop, my top left. I'll set that. I want the height to be about 50 meters. Okay, so I'm not going to make this exactly spot on, but we'll use it as a guide. It'll just help us stay focused on what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to start by drawing out a spline, but I'm going to use this Bezier tool. That means we'll get a lot of control over where we're placing the curves and the tangents and stuff like that. So I'm just going to start drawing out my spline. Can everyone see this okay? Okay, so I'm going to start drawing out. I'm going to set this to about 5 points per section. So this is our starting point here. I'm going to point these tangents along our path. Keep drawing these out. Follow it the best I can. I just find this Bezier a bit nicer to use because you've got a bit more control over how the spline bends. I'm just trying to keep these tangents sort of straight so we get a nice smooth curve. Let's see, Mr. Thompson's just joined. Hello, Ian. So this is the boring bit. This is, you know, I could have done this earlier, but it is a live demo, so I'm going to do all the boring bits as well. Just draw this out. Put the music back on really while we're doing this. It's not the most exciting, but we'll get there. Anyone from the Lightwave dev is listening, it'd be great to have an update for this Bezier tool. You notice when you place a node, we don't get the nice tangents that you would in Photoshop or something. Okay, nearly there. Let's make that closed. Okay. Oh. Yeah, that looks okay. Now we can get rid of our image. Okay, so that's cool and everything, but it's not going to be a very exciting roller coaster just being flat. So we need to kind of add some peaks and troughs and things to it. So this is going to be the starting point. So I guess I'm going to start with the first ramp upwards, and this will be our first drop. So what I'm going to do here, select some of these points, like the start and end of our ramp. Go there. I'm going to come in my top view. I'm going to hit T for move and let the fall off. Okay, so a right click and drag, I can basically use fall off on that and then raise that up. I can even try some kind of ramp in there, get kind of a nice smooth curve there. Raise this next section up, do the same again. Going to drag that. And as it's a demo, I'm not going to spend forever making this perfect. Just going to lift this bit up slightly. I've just seen your message, Shibazi. I did actually try importing an AI file, but you get so many verts on it, it kind of makes it quite difficult to tidy up. So I've avoided doing that. One thing I haven't done, look, is I haven't actually merged these curves, so I'm just going to press Shift Z. And also I'm just going to go in and delete, excuse me, just going to tidy up some of these. Drag tool, can do this on our spline afterwards, but I want to kind of get rid of any kinks or bits that have too many verts. This corner here, this makes for a bit of a smoother transition. Okay, let's have a look. Now I'm going to raise this corner here. If move, and we'll get our fall off on again. On our X axis. you'll probably spend a lot more time refining something like this, but and we'll get this on. On here. Couple of kinks there in it that we smooth out. Okay, I think that would probably do us. There we don't like. It's a great thing about Super Spline is obviously you can do all your precision placement in Modeler. So you know you don't have to be dragging loads of nodes around for spline control. Just this up a bit. Just so when it crosses over we've got a bit of space. Drag tool to do that. I think we're about there. Okay, that'll do us, I think. So I'm going to save this out as roller coaster path. Send that over to layout. Look at the size. Okay, I probably want to scale that up by about 200%. Just so the assets work a little better. I don't like some of the kinks in it, but we can fix it later. Okay, so that's selected now. We're just going to run Super Spline. Some of you might have seen there's a new feature in Super Spline released yesterday. The previous version was always by vert ID, which is great for meshes because you know exactly the path that the spline is going to take. But now we can just do it by spline, so it will go start to finish on the spline direction, so we don't have to keep rebuilding vert orders and stuff like that. Okay, so what have we got? See, there are a bit of few kinks and stuff like that. Okay, so you can see here there's a little bit of a error there. When we create splines that have perfectly distributed nodes, you won't get that, but all we have to do here, just going to relax some of these nodes. Let's just scale them up a bit so we can see them. Relax that. There we go. So, and to be honest, it's not the smoothest spline I've drawn there, is it? But I'm just going to use the tools just to relax some of these areas. Okay. Let's pretend I've done a really good job on that and it's all really nice and smooth. Okay. So first off, I want to build some track. So all we have to do is come in here, click calculate length, and we've got a length of our track. I'm just going to copy that value, and then I think I've got a track parts object. Select that and go to modeler, and right, we've got some ends of some track here. So all I want to do, I'm going to extrude that, and I'm going to paste the value in there. Okay, so nice long piece of track, and then I'm going to just make some subdivisions, multiply, more, Boolean 2. I want these in Z, so I'm just gonna, I don't know, do 400, so we've got a nice smooth track. We need more, looking at that. Again, 800. Okay, so now we pop over here, we've got this nice long bit of track. Select our spline and we'll add some bones. I'm just going to add 800 because that was the divisions we were using. That's just going to take a minute, and then it'll build a bone chain exactly that length, and we can use that to deform our track. Maybe 800 was a bit too many. There we go. Right, I'm going to delete those because that is too many bones there. Let's try that again. We'll go, let's go 300. That does. Yeah, that looks okay. So we can just hide those now, and we can select our track and just click fit object. See, that's been created, but it's all the way over here, so that's just because we need to zero that out. There we go. Now we've got our track set up with spline control. So let's start building some wooden slats. So I want this to be obviously a minecart ride or something, and sorry, I was just reading the comments there. Yeah, so we're going to build like a wooden star roller coaster. So let's select our spline and P for properties, instance generator, and I'm going to add, I'm going to call them slats. Yeah, is visible. I'm going to set this as spline distribute, and then we just hide the ribbon, hide the shapes as well, just so we can see what we're doing. I want this to be like quite heavy flats there, so let's do that. Let's go 1500, something like that. We'll just give it a bit of, I don't know, -5 and 5 on the heading, and then bank -5. Want it to look a bit wonky, There we go. It's too much on the bank. Okay, something like that will do. And then, so this is going to need some kind of walls to go around it. So let's have a look what we've got in our little asset pack over here. Got this fence. So I'm going to select that, head to modeler. So we had a length of about 600 meters, didn't we? So if I create a spline, this is a new tool in Lightwave 2026. If I create a spline, we can repeat that fence along the spline in modeler. So let's spline draw. Set those 0 on X, and I will place it there on Z. This one, use that value, hopefully it's still up. 600 meters. Now, hopefully, and repeat that along the spline. Got this bent curve. So this is set to Z, fit to length, copies. Let's go 200, see where that gets us. Okay, and that's repeated our fence end to end. See how far off we are. Oh, few more than 210. Line in the background. 10. Right, that'll do us. So we know that that's just about right. So what we can do now, we need to know the width of our rack, don't we? Find our slat. Just going to copy that into our fence layer there. Just place this. Just switch those layers. I'm going to place that one there, and then I'm just going to mirror that. Something like that. Maybe I'll just push them out slightly. Get rid of our slat now. And the path. Fence. It looks like it's going to be absolutely massive on there, but let's see. So we can just go fit object. Set that as 0, 0, 0. I already see an issue. So, oh no, it looks all right. Not too bad. Not too bad. That's got fences around there. Okay. Let's see what else we can do. Let's add some decorations along the track. Maybe some of these little flags or something. So a little trick we can do. So at the moment, when we add stuff to a spline, we can't actually offset from the spline in instance generator yet. So a way of just sort of sorting that out a little bit is to take our object and clone that, place that with a null, and let's replace with null. Flag. Going to parent that to the flag. Okay. Now Back to the spline. Just make sure you have, if you want to open the super spline panel, make sure you've selected an object that belongs to that setup. If you, I don't know, have this selected by accident, it will try and build a spline rig off that mesh. So just sort of make sure. The way I do it usually is just click on here and start typing move, spline move there, then we can open the panel. We can select our spline, into properties, and we'll add a new instance generator. This time I'm going to add red flag. That's the null that we just created. I'll just check this here, and that's going to give us the hierarchy of the null and the mesh itself. Okay, and we're going to select spline on here, distribute. Okay, so we've got all these little flags everywhere. At the moment, they are in the middle of the track, which is no good. If I use offset, that's a world offset, so that won't work with spline at this stage. So with our little hierarchy that we created, red flag, and we can select this one. Oh, and that again. Red flag. Going to select the flag itself there. Okay. Come back to our track. Here, I move that flag in X now. That will move it left and right according to that spline. Okay, so we can actually place things accurately. Right, so we've got a basic track. Let's add some cars or something now. So for a while I would always add car to a as an instance and then use the separation, and we'd get like 5 or 6 cars that would all follow the track. Actually, found a nicer way of doing this is to use the move tool. So we've got our move null here. We can select it off our panel, of course, and let's give it 700 frames, and we can just click animation test. Click OK. That is going to send our move around the track from start to finish. It actually creates a perfect loop, frame 700. That's really handy because, you know, previously with spline control you wouldn't know exactly how long the spline was, and it was eyeballing it basically to make it loop. Let's now hit play. Got this nice nice animation. Probably a bit slow, so all I'm going to do is just move that to select that. Can I? Let's make a new one then. Move that to 600. Okay, so that's our animation, and now I want to add some cars to this. So select cart, find cart. I'm just going to parent this to, in fact, no, I'm not going to parent it. I'm going to set the spline control here to be our spline. Okay, that behaves exactly as expect. We can move that in Z. But we've already got this animation, so what I want to do is come into graph editor and position Z, modifiers, and then I'm going to go to channel follower. Okay, let's search for move there. Oh, right, just taking a second. So we want position Z there. Okay. Just need to zero out these things first, I think. There we go. Now, I'll put this at 60 frames rather than 600. Hopefully now, make a new anime test. Ready. Right. Right. So let's go on now. So that's moving as we'd expect. Okay. So what I want to do now is just clone that. I'm just going to hit Alt D for quick clone, and then in here I'm going to set a time lag. So I think 0.08 worked quite well. There we go. Minus point minus. Okay. Then I'm just going to duplicate that again. Tell you what I've done. I've got the wrong one selected. I'm going to hit 0 on that first one. My graph editor updating, that's why. Minecart 2 is going to be 0.08. That's it. Number 3. Minus 0.16. No. 0.16. Okay. Duplicate. Update. Refresh. 2.4, isn't it? And we'll just do D2. Okay. Now we've got this nice little animation, and if we need to change it, all we have to do is animate this move node. You know, when you want to animate this properly, you probably want to slow it down on the uphills and then accelerate on the down. I won't be doing that today. That's just literally a graph editor thing where you know you need to create keyframes and make it look as though it's actually got some weight to it rather than just a constant speed around the track. But what you do get with this method, rather than the instancer method, you get this kind of nice offset with the carts. It's quite subtle, but like you get kind of some nice sort of animation that's sort of offset through the train rather than it all happening really smoothly based on the spline. I kind of like that. It feels a bit more realistic. kind of cool is so you can get a camera in there now. Let's make a new camera. Items, camera, plus POV. I'm going to parent that to the rear cart, number 5. I'll just move that. That's right. And then we'll set the rotation to be 0, so it matches. And then what I'm going to do is create a null, and I'll call this target. And set that to be child of the first cart. Just 0 that out. Okay. Select camera. Target that. Target null. Okay. Right, now let's use our move path so that we can kind of see what we're doing. I'm going to select the object path. Get some. It now means that the camera will kind of look towards the front of the train the whole time rather than just being static. What have I done here? What have I done? Okay. I mean, I don't know about you, I think that's pretty cool for like a few minutes setup. Trying to do that by hand or, you know, using the curve to spline thing, I think would take you a few hours. So, you know, Super Spline just makes it a lot easier just to sort of manage your spline control. Let's just select move, open the Super Spline. You know, just with having these quick select tools and select the spline, and we can instantly get to where we're applying instances and things like that. So it's kind of just a nice hub for managing everything. So I mean, now we're at a stage where it's just kind of decoration, isn't it? So we can start bringing in some of these mountains, track, blah blah blah. We can get some, let's put some tunnels on it, that could be fun. I'm just going to 0 that out. Select our spline, add some generator, what is that called, larch or something. There it is. So I can move that original one away now. Add one of these to start. So cars actually go through the quite cool. Yeah, some placement issues obviously, but you know, with this pipeline it's really easy to place anything you want. You know, let's say we wanted a section here that was all tunnel. So let's just do that. Let's what can we use here? There's a tunnel there. Let's copy that to a new object. Don't know why it's a rainbow. Let's give that a color. Will do. And I'm just going to duplicate a few of those. Got here, offset is Z, 8.5 meters, 8.6. Okay. Going to clone that. 8.6, 10. Okay. So here's a little trick which works quite well. So I've got our tunnel. Tunnel 2. So I am going to create a morph. It's already there. Just clear that morph. Map. Clear map. Going to move that in Z. Okay. And that's it. Save that. Send it to layout. Very big, isn't it? Hey ho. Right, so all we do now is fit object. Okay. And come into properties, we'll add a morph mixer. Okay. Because it's got no morphs. Why is that? Just creating a morph. There's definitely a morph. No morphs. Okay, so that could be a 2026 thing. No worries, we'll try a different method now. With that method, basically you just apply the morph mixer and then you can control the tunnel moving along the track with your morph mixer slider. Right, so let's have less of these. I am just going to now make a bone chain. I'm going to draw a skeleton. Like so. Place that on. Center that first point. And then I am going to split those. So we've just got a bone chain there. All we need to do. Okay. Save that. And I am going to bones to turn off the use bones from self. Okay. Got our tunnel set up, skeletons, and I'm going to select all of those bones. Item, select bones, and motion options, spline control, just select our spline. There it is. Okay, and now all we need is that very first bone in the chain. Okay. And move it in. Move it in Z, and we can place our tunnel anywhere we want then. And we can go through our tunnel lot. So easy to set up. Now you can just place anything along the track that you need. Let's just do one last bit, and that'll be just get some like supports and struts and stuff like that. Looks like this thing has got stuff we can borrow. Pinch bits. Okay, that'll do me. Copy that into a new layer. This time I want to place it below the y-axis, so I'm going to press F3 to rest on ground, but set that to minus. Got our kind of strut which will go underneath the track. Wooden supports. Okay, send that over. Select our spline again. These generator. Those wooden supports. Cute. Obviously, you can scale these depending on what the terrain is like underneath or whatever. Some of these might be all right here, but you've got to reach the floor. Maybe you get a second version of the wooden supports that's longer, and you can just place them wherever you want. You can do that with if you put a single bone inside this support, you could assign that to spline control and then just move each one individually. Just dress it as you see fit. What are we on? 48 minutes. I mean, I know I haven't done things perfectly, but you know, you're on the way to building something pretty complex with lots of control. And if you need to change it, we can always just go back to here, select our. Oh, I haven't shown you the banking and stuff yet, have I? That's a cool thing. Okay, so I'm going to add some banking to some of these corners. Let's try this one here. This one here. So I'm just going to select a node. Okay, and then we can expand the selection, move the selection, which is really handy. So we've got it in exactly the right place. And we can just right click and rotate. That's one way to do it. And then if we want to blend that into our existing track, we can just select this node, smooth bank, smooth it into main sort of flow of that curve. So smooth that one. You can also, if we want to add some more kind of fall off, we can set this to be 3 nodes, and then I can rotate that by 22.5 degrees, and that will fall off from each side of this. Say we've got 22 applied to this node will be half that, this node will be half again. So it's kind of a nice way of just adding some rotation, so you don't have to go fixing everything up. Yeah, like it's odd, so let's just relax that a bit. You know, as we're building from scratch, we can change this on the fly, of course. That's the beauty of line control. Just keep in mind that if you do change anything here, this is actually changing your spline length, so you will have to recalculate and edit your model. If use my method for setting the length in modeler. So I'm sure you can all imagine that we can go ahead and add instances and decorations and all that, but obviously that's not really what this demo is about. It's kind of just more about how easy it is to control this stuff. And now for me, I mean, I built this tool for me, really. I use spline control loads, and for me, I've kind of disconnected myself from the pain of getting this thing made, and now it's just a tool I use all the time for so many different things. So it's not just roller coasters and trains and stuff like that. It can be literally anything where you want to have precise control of your animation and things moving along a spline. So I think that's probably about it. The roller coaster, not pretty, but hopefully you've learnt a few tricks. So if anyone's got any questions before we finish, hit me up on the chat. Just have a look at my little cars again. Super cool. So no questions. I did say that whoever's with me on this to the end, they're going to get a discount code. So here it is. So the link's in the description. The code will only last for the next 2 hours. Obviously this video will get posted on YouTube, so this code really is for the people that have spent the time out of their evening or day, whatever time it is with you. I appreciate you jumping on, and please buy it. It's been a bit of a passion project for me, and you know, it's been 6 months in the making. So yeah, please show your support. It's not expensive, and I guarantee it will change the way you use spline control forever. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I will be on Discord in a moment if anyone wants to chat further. So hopefully it was you won't use the code. Hopefully you can see the power of Super Spline, and I apologize if I'm pushing this really hard at the minute, but it's my livelihood, so there we go. So anyway, hope you've all enjoyed it, and we've got through it at least with no technical issues, so that's pleasing. All right, thank you very much, guys. Cheers for joining.